Welcome to the Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Dion Amade. With the name Trey, it's not a surprise that Trey Phipps is a three-point sharpshooter. The Booker T. Washington alum is a basketball lifer who's headed to Norman to join the Oklahoma Sooners. A little later, Chris Sackett will join us with a kicking tale when we go kicking it with Weokie. Now, let's talk to Trey Phipps.
Here comes Bryce. Trey along three. Got it. Wow. Give him 18 here in the first half.
Well, we want to welcome Trey Phipps to Ford High School Weekly. Trey, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right. So what we like to do here on Ford High School Weekly is we have an icebreaker round. All right. So we start off with the easy questions. We let the viewers get to know you a little bit, and we get to let them get to know you outside of the world of sports. So,
okay.
You good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first question I want to ask you. All right. You choose between the two. All right. Are you a pickup truck type of guy or a sports car?
I love a good sports car, but I mean, that's a tough one. I'll probably go with the sports car. You know,
really
flex on somebody. Yeah.
Most of the times when you ask that, especially here in the state of Oklahoma or Texas, it's always pickup trucks. So I'm surprised.
Yeah, got to be a little different sometimes.
I hear you. All right. Well, other than basketball, as far as sports that you would play, let me give you these two. Which one you choose out of the two? Golf or tennis?
That's tough. Growing up, I enjoyed my fair share of tennis matches, so I'd probably go with tennis. I'm better at tennis. Yeah,
really?
I'm better at tennis. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to lean towards golf. A couple of surprises.
I like to golf, but I also like to win. So I'll take my chances on the tennis court.
I feel you. All right, so I know your AAU team, PWP, was big time Under Armour people, but as far as brands go to speak, and I know your future school is the Jordan brand, so I know that. So I'm taking the two out. All right,
taking two out. All right, I got you.
Nikes or Adidas? Which one you rock?
That's the easiest question you've got. Nike. Not even close.
Yeah. Checks over stripes?
Checks over stripes.
All day. All right, last question in the icebreaker round, all right? So when you're communicating with somebody, which would you prefer, FaceTime or texting?
That's tough. Probably FaceTime. Get your point across.
Really?
Yeah.
More context?
Yeah, more context, yeah.
All right, well. We're talking with Trey Phipps over here on the Ford High School Weekly. Trey, thank you so much for joining us. Let's go ahead and start off the question like I like to do most of these interviews. Just ask a general question as far as why did you start playing the game of basketball?
Well, my dad, he was a Division I coach for 20-something years. So when I was born, he was an assistant at the university, or Roberts, I should say. And so I kind of just grew up around it, and I fell in love with it. Ultimately, probably because I was around it because of my dad, but I also picked up on it kind of like on my own. Like I loved it more than just because my dad is what his profession was.
So as far as that situation goes, I mean, how do you identify with basketball yourself, other than because you can kind of tell it's kind of a family thing, but what does it mean to you individually?
It means a whole lot. I mean, this is cheesy, but it's kind of been my life. And so I kind of developed a love for it, and kind of like, it's my path. Like I want to be great at it. And so I kind of just figured try and be as good as I can be, you know what I mean?
I feel you. So with on the other side of that, having a father that is ingrained in the sport as well, especially here locally, and having him have the knowledge to give you the lessons that some of your peers doesn't have. What has it meant for you to have your dad by your side and him coaching you along the way?
I'm very lucky. He's a great player. He's a great coach. He's been able to obviously make me the player I am today, and he continues to keep pushing me and keep letting me know things because ultimately he wants me to be better than he was. So having him by my side is it's pretty special for me, and I'm lucky because a lot of guys don't have that coach that's right there next to you.
It's very true. I mean, we've talked to a number of guys, and that both of them have their own little tale about how it is playing for their dads. And so with you, what was it like as far as, going home with the man with the whistle in his mouth that just made you run like 20 gashes? What's that relationship like?
It's a good relationship. He does a good job of kind of leaving it at home. But I mean, at home, if I need to be doing something better, then he's gonna let me know. And it's just kind of one of those things you kind of have to grow up and like realize that he wants the best for you. He's not just trying to be like mean or anything. He's trying to make you better.
How long did it take you to realize that?
Oh, every day. It's still a process, but it's still a process. But I mean, I'm lucky, I should say. I'm very lucky.
Check out more of our Ford High School Weekly interviews at YurView.com/OK. Trey's taking his talents to Norman. We'll talk about that when Ford High School Weekly continues. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking to BTW's Trey Phipps, who's on his way to Norman to play basketball with the Sooners.
And here comes Trey Phipps. By 3 defenders, and he's fouled and one.
Now you're one of the lucky ones that still has an opportunity to play after high school, and so making the decision to take your talents over to Norman and play for the Sooners. What came in that decision?
Well, Coach Kruger and his staff, one of the best in the country. The fit, the style of play, it fits my game. They like to get up and down, shoot threes. And it was ultimately kind of my dream school growing up. So it was a pretty easy decision to kind of that's where I wanted to be.
So when do you guys report to Norman and what's kind of the schedule after that?
The Big 12 decided July 6th was the date we could report. And so that's what we plan on. We plan on moving into the dorms July 6th. And I think we get tested for COVID the next day. And kind of from there on, we kind of just see what we can do in the safest way possible. And I think the NCAA passed I don't know what they call those, a bylaw or whatever. And I think starting July 20th, we can start practicing as a team and putting hours in on the court. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So speaking of, I mean, the next transition in your life, going to college, living on your own for your first time, what are the things that you are most excited about?
Unlimited gym access, and not driving, and driving about 2 minutes to the gym. That's what I'm really looking forward to. The short drive to Lord Noble from Pennington Hall.
Like the answer only Trey Phipps could give. The thing that you're looking forward to most about college is being able to go to the gym whenever you want to.
I mean, it's something. It's a blessing.
Man,
that's my favorite place to be.
I hear you. So as far as the Big 12 schedule that you're looking at, is there any team that you're looking forward to going against or facing off of? I mean, I think there's a Jayhawk that you're kind of familiar with that seems like it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, obviously, my high school teammate Bryce Thompson, he's going to be playing at Kansas, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun, get to compete against him, and obviously the Badlands rivalry, playing Oklahoma State and playing Texas. It's really something. I that's why I put so much time in, so I have this opportunity. So, but I'm very excited to finally get to compete against Bryce after being on his team for so long.
How long have you guys been teammates with each other? Because I mean, high school, AAU ball, and then how long has it been?
Since I started playing organized YMCA the YMCA days in kindergarten. It's been a long time. I've known Bryce for a long time. He's one of my good friends, and he's awesome.
This is going to be a little weird with y'all.
Yeah, it'll be a little weird, but we'll get over it. we compete when we go up to Titan. We compete, so it'll be fun.
The pandemic has handed Trey Phipps some disappointment, but he's handling that adversity just fine. Check out 4 Game of the Week classics Tuesdays and Friday nights at 8 p.m. on YurView Channel 3. And go to yourview.com/OK for more complete interviews and local high school sports coverage. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking to former Booker T. Washington Hornet, Trey Phipps.
Phipps a long 3. That's good. Came off the screen. What a shot.
A lot of stuff taking place this year with the pandemic and the coronavirus. How has that affected you and your training to get prepared to go to the next level?
Well, it's a crazy time we're living in, but I think the pandemic it gave me an opportunity to kind of just sit down and kind of like figure out how to become better. And I've been lucky enough. I had a goal in my driveway, and so I've been able to put the time in and kind of just hunker down on my game and focus on ways I can get better throughout this crazy time and the abnormal circumstances we're in.
We're talking with Trey Phipps, the now Booker T. Washington alum and future Oklahoma Sooner. So you just mentioned that you're doing a lot of shooting in the driveway. I mean, is that the main place that you're training these days with everything going on?
I'd say the first month of quarantine, yes, it was a driveway every day. But I've been able to, since places have been opened up. Rod Thompson, he was my AAU coach, and he's been putting kind of workouts on at Titan, and I've been able to go up there and try and get better. And I've been able to find places around town to get shots up, and it's been pretty good since things have been opening up.
So what are some of the things that got you working on as far as getting ready for the next level?
My body, I've been able to kind of focus on the strength and conditioning side, and so that's been a big focus. And being productive off the bounce, and kind of just always working on your consistency with my 3-point shot, and getting off quick, extending the range. And so it's kind of a lot of things, kind of just prepare you for what's next.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Speaking of what's next, let's go back a little bit to the past. And we mentioned that everything has been changing with the coronavirus and the pandemic. Unfortunately for you, you guys were kind of the first ones that got affected by it, as far as not being able to play in the state championship tournament and trying to go back to back. What was that feeling? Take us back to that day and finding out the news and everything.
That was a crazy day. It was kind of just one of those things. How a lot of the news we find out nowadays is on Twitter. So that's how I found out we were no longer going to be playing in the state tournaments off of Twitter. And so it was kind of just a real a bunch of emotions that day. You wake up, you're ready to play, then by 11 in the morning, your high school career is probably going to be over. So it was a crazy day.
Man, what kind of emotions were involved? I mean, when did y'all officially get the word?
We were getting ready to leave for our game. We played at 3, I think. So it was around 12 when they had decided that they were going to postpone the state tournament. And kind of our coaches sat us down and was like, it's going to be really hard to kind of make this thing up. And so it was kind of like, it was all the feeling was always there that it probably was never going to get made up or anything like that.
So how has that been for you? I mean, as far as the 1 year that we have this catastrophic, situation happen, it's your senior year, and you're having to miss out on a lot of events, not just basketball, but I'm talking about a lot of senior events like prom and graduation and all kinds of stuff. What's been the feel with your family and all that going on?
It's just kind of one of those things you just kind of have to deal with. You kind of have to roll with the punches, I was lucky. I had a great high school experience at Booker T. Washington High School. I loved every moment there. And so you kind of just have to just reflect on all the good times and kind of just keep moving, and keep finding ways to kind of keep improving your game and as a person. So it's just one of those things you got to keep it rolling.
So did your family end up doing anything special for you as far as, to try to make up for the events that you missed?
Yeah, we threw we had like a graduation dinner with my family, and that's pretty much it. So, because it is what it is, We had a drive-through graduation at school, and that was fun. They kind of put on your cap and gown and be able to kind of just hear your name called. So it's been good.
Records are made to be broken. Next up, Chris Sackett tells us about a record still standing after more than 30 years. Check out YurView.com/OK for more Oklahoma high school sports content. You're watching Ford High School Weekly. Well, guys, welcome back. We're going to be talking to my man, Chris Sackett from Weokie Credit Union. Chris is a staple on our Ford Game of the Week, always there at halftime doing the Weokie Kick for Cash. Chris, how's it going?
Hey, Dion, it's going great. It's always good to join you and talk a little high school sports.
It certainly is. I mean, and as much as we like to talk high school sports, I mean, back in the day, me and you used to play a little high school sports as well. And from what I understand, it kind of goes with the trend of Weokie Kick for Cash. You were a kicker back in high school. Is that true? And if so, tell me a little bit about it.
Exactly. Yeah, Dion, it's no coincidence that the Kick for Cash is something we came up with, and I actually was a kicker. So, I had the privilege of doing some kicking back in the day. I started out, I was a scrawny little soccer player, and the spring practice of we were doing spring soccer practice, and the head football coach, Reen Huckabee, came out to soccer practice and said, "Hey, some of you soccer players should come out and kick field goals for me this next fall." And I was going to be a senior. I was a junior at the time, and I was like, you know what, that'd be kind of fun. And so a good friend of mine, Joel Penwright, he was like, "Oh yeah, Chris, you can do it." So that summer we would go up to the old Yukon High School and kick, and I could do it pretty good. I wasn't too shabby. Kicking a football is not too far off from kicking a soccer ball. And I played soccer since I was 5 years old. So towards the end of July, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. But I decided when I go out for it, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to do it. So
okay, let me stop you there, because this is a question I have to ask, and something that I always love asking football players. The first time you put on the pads, I know you were practicing in the summertime getting ready for it, but the first time you actually put on the pads, the shoulder pads, the helmets, how was that experience?
That's so funny you say that. It wasn't so much the pads, but you don't realize your vision in a helmet is so, I mean, you're looking through tunnel vision. It's like you don't realize it. And that's the thing. I was like, oh wow, this is, so I would go through and kick, and I kind of turned a little bit of heads. They were kind of, okay, this Sackett kid, he's got a little bit of a leg. And so it was a warm late summer evening, September 11th, 1987 to be exact. Dion, you probably weren't even born when this happened.
Can't say that I was.
Okay. We were playing Choctaw out there, and they were like, all right, field goal team, get ready. And I was like, I grabbed my tee, it's a 2-inch rubber tee, ran out there, put the tee down, and marked it off, and did the deal, kicked it. It was good. And the whole summer, my friend Joel Penwright was telling me, all right, Sackett, the Yukon record's 44 yards. You can break that. I'm like, Joel, I don't care. I just want to make the team. I don't care. I don't want to break the record. I just want to make the team. And so after that kick, it was 47 yards. I'm running back. The sideline's going crazy. And they're like, you broke the record. And I'm like, no, did I? But it really didn't hit me until we're driving back home. We ended up losing, by the way, to the Yellow Jackets. And getting back home on the bus. And, when you're on the bus and you lose, it's stone quiet.
It certainly is. So
I had my headphones in, turned down loud because I don't want to get yelled at. Hey, kicker, turn your headphones down. Anyway, and then it hit me. I was like, I broke the school record. Holy cow. So that was, it's one of those great life lessons, Dion, not to get sentimental or whatever, but it's truly like you have an opportunity. Kids, if you're listening, if you have an opportunity, you go out and take advantage of it. I mean, I was a skinny soccer player. I had no business being on the football field. A little bit nervous, probably a little bit scared if you want to get honest. But I was like, I'm going to do this. And it really taught me a good life lesson is that, sometimes in life, you don't know if you should do it, but you know what? You really should. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It was a lot of fun playing football.
I'm glad that you were able to embark on that journey. And sometimes it all is like we need a volunteer, and sometimes you just got to raise your hand and say,
That's
what
right.
the hell?
That's right.
Well, yeah. Chris, thank you for joining us this evening and telling us a little bit about your past and all the great things that you've accomplished. And hey, claim to fame, always got that record.
That's right. It still holds after 30 plus years. Maybe one of these days I'll see it get broken. So
records are made to be broken.
That's right. That's right.
I have to say a big thank you to Trey Phipps, Hornet legend and soon-to-be Sooner, as well as my good friend Chris Sackett for joining us. Remember, guys, your workout videos are always welcome. Send them to me at DionAmade_28. We'd love to show off your hard work. Go to YurView.com/OK for complete interviews and more high school sports content. Thank you for watching Ford High School Weekly. Until next time, I'm your host, Dion Amade.